Hey guys, today we are going to learn about adenoid hypertrophy. So basically, what are adenoids? Adenoids, also known as nasopharyngeal tonsils, are mass of lymphoid tissue situated at the junction of the roof and the posterior wall of the nasopharynx, as you can see in the figure. Now, the size of adenoid tissue. So as you can see in the graph, the adenoid tissue is present at birth. It shows physiological enlargement up to the age of 6 years and then tends to atrophy at puberty and almost completely disappears by the age of 20. Now about the etiology of adenoid enlargement. It may occur as a part of generalized lymphoid hyperplasia in certain children, or it may occur due to recurrent attacks of rhinitis, sinusitis, or chronic tonsillitis, or it may be a part of the allergy of the upper respiratory tract. Now about the clinical features. So the signs and symptoms of adenoid enlargement may depend on the size of the adenoid mass relative to the available space in the nasopharynx. There may be nasal symptoms, oral symptoms, and general symptoms. Firstly, about the nasal symptoms. So the nasal obstruction is the commonest symptom present in case of adenoid enlargement. This leads to mouth breathing. Nasal obstruction also interferes with feeding or suckling in a child. As respiration and feeding cannot take place simultaneously, a child with adenoid enlargement fails to thrive. Next symptom is nasal discharge. It is partly due to choanal obstruction, as the normal nasal secretions cannot drain into the nasopharynx, and partly due to associated chronic rhinitis. And the child often has a wet, bubbly nose. So the child has a wet, bubbly nose in cases of adenoid enlargement. Next nasal symptom is sinusitis. So chronic maxillary sinusitis is commonly associated with adenoids. It is due to the persistence of nasal discharge and infection. And the reverse is also true, that a primary maxillary sinusitis may lead to infected and enlarged adenoids. So chronic maxillary sinusitis is associated with adenoid enlargement. Next symptom is epistaxis. So it happens when adenoids are acutely inflamed and we do nose blowing along with it. So epistaxis, that is bleeding from nose, may occur in such cases. Next is voice change. So the voice is toneless and loses nasal quality due to nasal obstruction. So these are the nasal symptoms: nasal obstruction, nasal discharge, sinusitis, epistaxis, and voice change. So next to the oral symptoms. First is tubal obstruction, which leads to a retracted tympanic membrane and conductive hearing loss. Next is recurrent attacks of chronic otitis media may occur, chronic suppurative otitis media may occur, and otitis media with effusion may be present. Now about the general symptoms. So these patients typically present with an adenoid facies, which means there is an elongated face with dull expression, open mouth, these are mouth breathers. There is a prominent and crowded upper teeth, hitched up upper lip, pinched in appearance of nose, due to disuse atrophy of the alae nasi. Highly arched hard palate may be seen, as the molding action of the tongue on hard palate is lost. And pulmonary hypertension and aproxia, that is lack of concentration, may be seen in such children. Next on to the diagnosis part of adenoid hypertrophy. So it can be done by the examination of postnasal space. In certain young children, it can be seen with a mirror itself, or you can use a rigid or a flexible nasopharyngoscope in a cooperative child. Next, we can take a soft tissue lateral radiograph of the nasopharynx. So it may look like this. Onto the treatment part, there are two modes of treatment according to the persistence of symptoms. If the symptoms are not marked, we can suggest some breathing exercises, decongestant nasal drops, and antihistaminics for any coexistent nasal allergy. And when symptoms are marked, adenoidectomy is done. That is removal of adenoids.